very good, positive stuff about all of them. And we still call their names to this day. No one was going to remember anything good if I had continued down the path to fall. They would have been able to still call my name, but it would have been with nothing associated with anything positive. Because we can think about other people who have taken the path to fight and the path to fall. We can call their names. We actually can. But if I'm going to be associated with anybody's breath, that they're going to actually utter my name, I want it to be associated with a path to purpose. So let's talk about path to purpose, keys to uncovering your life's purpose. A beautiful picture of me in Namibia, actually, on one of their beaches. And this is important to me as far as purpose is concerned, because when you stand and you look on the shore of a beach and you stand and you just watch, as far as your eyes can see, there are no limits to the ocean. I mean, it's beautiful, it's doing its thing, it's creating its own path. Like, it's giving life to itself and to anything that walks and touch it. And I'm like, this is the perfect picture for what I want to depict. And I wanted to depict this because our problem is we're not struggling from a shortage of opportunity or success. We are suffering from a scarcity of purpose. When you think about, and one of the highest rates of death right now is by suicide. It went up by I don't know how much % in the last 4 or 5 years when COVID started. And it was at a high rate even before that. When I think about the thoughts of suicide that I was having, even just the thought of even saying to myself, I don't want to be here if my parents aren't here. God, please take me, because if they're not here, there's no reason for me to live. I said that to myself. Why did you not allow me to go on that plane so that I could not be in pain and in agony? And it's because for a moment I had forgotten that if I'm still breathing, there is still something left for me to do. And so he reminded me, and immediately, such thoughts went away. And so when you think about people who are thinking of committing suicide, it's because they think there is something better on the other side of life that is not going to make me feel the way I feel now. So they're running from pain. They're running from hurt. They're running from anger. They're running from despair. Anyone that you think have suicidal thoughts, they're running from something towards what they think is better. Until someone can get a hold of them to remind them that if you're still breathing, no matter what your life looks like, no matter what your background is, no matter what your current state is, there is still something left for you to do from a purpose perspective. So let's talk life into you. I'm a social worker by profession. So my clientele are literally people that come to me who are depressed, who are anxious, who are panicked, who are actually losing parts of their life. So they now feel that they no longer have life. Those are the people that come into my office. Those are the people I see at the bedside in the hospital. And so I'm always, when I say always, I'm always having to speak life into them. I'm having to get them to see that, yes, your kidneys are no longer working. But if you are still breathing, that means all your other organs are working. So what are we going to do with those? So my reward used to be when clients come to me, I go to them, and their faces they're just like this. And by the time we are done, shoulders are high, chest are out, and they're smiling. That was my reward. Because at least I knew that I spoke life into them in that moment. So I want to speak life into you. I want to speak life into your situation. I want to speak life into your current season right now. So that when you leave here, you walk out chest high, shoulders high, chest out, and smiling. So the world can see the purpose that's still in your life. Why? Because you're still breathing. So let's talk about it. What is purpose? And I think we are now at a place where people now understand what purpose is. I don't think anyone in here doesn't know what purpose is. So this is just going to be a review. We're going to go deeper into now how do we uncover that in your life. So purpose is the reason why you exist. It's the original intent that was in the mind of the creator, the designer, the manufacturer. In your case, as a human, that's God. In many other cases, everything else, everything, tangible or intangible, has a creator, a manufacturer, a designer that created something based on purpose. That's purpose. Okay? It's your why. People tend to ask us a lot, what do you do? And you're able to say what, and you're able to say how. But if we were to ask you, but why? What's your why? A lot of us struggle with that. But purpose is the why you do what you do. It's the why you even, how what you do. Okay? When purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. And this is why I will never stop talking about it. I will continue the message that my father preached for 40 plus years. Because we keep abusing ourselves and abusing each other because we don't understand how important purpose is. So the importance of purpose in my life was key to me not abusing the next 30 years of my life just because my parents were no longer here. Mind you, their purpose finished. They didn't just die. I had to realize that they just finished. Jesus didn't just die. He said, it is finished. His purpose was finished. So I just want to finish. And I don't want to finish no sooner than I need to. Purpose is the key to fulfillment. If you want to feel happy, if you want to feel fulfilled in life, if you want to feel like I am doing what I'm supposed to doing without even thinking about it, I wake up on Monday mornings, not Friday, Monday mornings, to do what I am doing because it's my purpose. Like that is fulfillment. It is not so much why you're thanking God for Friday, because everybody can't wait for the weekend. It's why I can't wait till Monday come. Sometimes it's the weekends I don't like, because I have a team that I work with. We talk all through the week. And I mean all through the week. We're talking business. We're dealing with clients. Come Friday, they shut down. So now all communication stop with clients Saturday, Sunday. I can't wait till Monday. Because now I want to get back in connection with my clients, with my customers, because that's where my fulfillment lies. So I can't wait till Monday come. If you still stuck on thank God it's Friday, keep listening. Everything has a purpose, and I say everything, everyone say after me, everything has a purpose, but not all purpose is known. And this is a very sad fact. Because some of you, a small handful of you in this room is still going to hear this message, and you're still going to live your life and die and never know. Never even bother trying to figure out and uncover what that purpose is. Whether you do that or not, let it be known that you have a purpose regardless. We abuse a lot of things because we don't take time to read the what? The manual. We don't figure out what the full extent of the purpose is of a thing, of a person. I can only imagine, I can only say that a man would abuse his wife because he don't understand her purpose. Because if he did, listen to me, unmarried men, young boys, abusing a woman, your sister, a friend, your wife, is not an indication that there's something wrong with her. It is an indication that there's something wrong with you. And ignorance is a problem. So not understanding her value and her worth, which makes it now easy for you to hit her and slap her is not because it's not because she's not valuable or doesn't have purpose. It's just because you don't know and you don't understand. And so this message for me to get to you is that important. And so when you are in your darkest moments, like literally, when God said to me, reminded me, the reason why you are still breathing is because there's something left for you to do. When I say it gave me all the life I needed, it gave me all the life I needed. Purpose truly gives life. That's actually what purpose is. Without purpose, you are what? Dead. So we're going to talk about life, L-I-F-E. And this is the framework that I created myself to help people go through how to uncover your life's purpose. Because a lot of the questions I used to get asked, especially in Africa, is I understand about purpose, I understand how and why my purpose is important, but I don't understand how do I go about finding out what that is. And it took me a long time to even figure it out for myself. But then when I went through my experience, now I can say I have figured it out. So we're going to talk about life, L-I-F-E. You can write this down. L, legacy. I, interest. F, find a problem. E, extra effort. Now these are going to be the keys for you to go about doing two things. One, figuring out how to uncover your purpose. And then two, if you already believe that you're walking in that, just confirmation. Just confirmation. So we're going to start with legacy, L. And this is a very clear picture of my father's legacy. Most of you in this room are still standing indications of Dr. Miles Monroe's legacy. He was adamant on making sure that his legacy was not in material things. He wanted his legacy to be people, just reproductions of himself, who when he's no longer here can still do the work, So I stand here because of the trainings that he did back there that I did not like. But I stand here in authority, and he's no longer here, chest high, chest out, shoulders high, smiling, because he was adamant that my legacy will be in the people that I raise, in the leaders that I transform. And so this is legacy in pictures. The goal is not to live forever. The goal is to create something that will. So my dad knew material things won't live forever. Money won't live forever. Buildings won't live forever. We see them coming down all the time. But people, we live. And we create and reproduce more people. What message, what idea? Ideas live forever. So he had idea after idea after idea. God give you ideas every day. Some of them you ignore, some of them you actually take and you produce into something. Businesses start with ideas. So if you want to start a business, think about an idea. What idea do you have? And what ideas do you have that keep coming up? You are not remembered by how important, you're not remembered by or important, but because how long you lived. So we don't care how long you lived. You are not remembered by or important because how long you lived. You are remembered because of how effective you've lived. So you can live for 95 years. There are 95-year-old people, there are 101-year-old people right now who we will only remember that she lived till she was 101. We will only remember he lived until he was 97. Wow, that's a lot of years. That is a lot of years. But what did they do? What did they do in those 101 years? How old was Jesus when he died? 33. How many of you are over 33? Okay, good. Have you lived a life, if you were to die today, that we will say, this is what she did, this is what he did, we can't remember, we can't forget? Can you say that? Not yet. Jesus was 33, and he did so much in how many years? 3. Because his work didn't start until he was 30. In 3 years, he did what you and I will never do in a lifetime span of 101. So the fact that you're still living, it's not too late. I don't care how old you are, from my young children back there to my oldest. If you're still breathing, you can still do a lot in the next 3 years of your life. You don't need, please don't let anyone believe that you need 10 years to leave a legacy worth talking about. You just need a day. You just need a day to make a decision to do something. Because when I die, if I die the next minute, I want to have done something that people will never remember, that they will never forget, and something worth talking about. Because there are leaders who have done things in their life that there's nothing positive about it. We can call their names. Some of them we know. Sometimes our purpose, our connection with the future, gives us meaning in the moment. For me, in that moment, when God reminded me of the breath that I had and the purpose that I had, it gave me all the meaning I needed in that moment to change from a path to fall and a path to fight to a path to purpose. And now this gets to be my legacy. And she is my legacy. I live so that her generation can be much richer than me. I live so that the generation after her is much richer than me. And I'm not talking richer in money, even that, but I'm talking first richer in knowledge and understanding. Because once we can get that, money becomes easy. So this is my legacy. To the point where her name, we have called her exactly what she is. Her first name is Legacy. I did this collage, and my husband said to me, this picture right here, he said, why you put that picture up there? I said, because she ain't always pretty. She ain't always happy and smiling. Let's be honest. So there are times when she is not so happy with us. So I wanted to show every aspect of her. And we live for this little girl right here. I don't hear her anymore, so she must be asleep. Mm-hmm. And this is my family. My family is my legacy. You will never forget Miles Monroe. Let me tell you. I tell you all now on this day, the 21st of when? September. You will never forget Charissa Monroe Wilborn. Ever. Mark my words. And I don't stand in this world alone anymore. Remember, I thought my mom, my dad, my brother, and me. It was the 4 of us to take over the world. And then one day, it became 0. And then I changed from path to fall. I changed from path to fight to path of purpose. And then God said, I'm going to multiply you. And so what was once 4, what was once 0 is now 3. And it's about to be 4. And we are going to continue the same goals and the same dreams that I had then with my parents. I'm so happy that I have a spouse that I chose well. To have someone. We're going to go after those goals. And so this is my legacy. And so the question, there's one question that you can ask yourself. There's actually 5. I've created a whole program on this. There are 5 questions for each one. But one of the questions that you can ask yourself when you're thinking about your legacy, how do I create my legacy, is what vision for the future inspires you? And so my dad's vision was transforming followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. That vision inspired him. So that's the way he lived. Anything he did and produced was because I see in the future leaders, followers becoming leaders. My vision is to empower already powerful people. So I know every time that I encounter someone, they are already powerful. My job is just to further empower them. So I do that in everything that I do. So when I stand on stage, I'm just empowering you to use the power you already have. So there's nothing that I'm going to do that if it's not leading to that vision, then it's not for me. So what is your vision for the future? I want to empower the next generation. That's what I do. What is your vision for the next generation? Just think about that. That's the question when it comes to legacy. And then that'll help you to decide if that is the vision I see that inspires me, then now I get to work towards that. Each one of those persons you saw that take the path of purpose, they had a vision and they died for that vision. Jesus' purpose and vision was to save you. He died saving you. Next, interests. And when you think about interest, think of your gifts and talents. What are your gifts? What are your talents? What are things that come natural to you? What's your passion? You're thinking about it all the time. You dream about it all the time. It's so big that you just put it down because you're like, this can't be for me. What is that thing? What is that gift that only you can do? Whether it's with your hands, whether it's with your mind, whether it's with your mouth. Like, what are your talents? Hone in on your interests. Figure out what they are and develop them. You'll become a big commodity when you can discover what your talents are. Because I promise you, people don't come to you for you. When they ask you to do something, they ain't coming to you for you. Think about it. When someone comes to you and say, can you help me with something? It's because they've seen that you can do this thing and they need your help. They ain't coming because you're pretty. They ain't coming because you're tall. They coming because you got something they want. Make it to where you have something that people want. What are your fruits? Think of the tree. You are a tree. You are a seed that grows into a beautiful tree that produces fruits. Your fruit are your gifts and your talents. It is your responsibility to figure that out. Everything God gave for you to fulfill your purpose, He already placed in you when you were born. It's already there. And so now it's just our responsibility to uncover that and then develop. What are your fruits? When you go to a tree, do you ever, honey, come here. I can't hug anybody, so come here.
Thank you. Please don't make it on my good new shirt.
Gotcha. This is a tree. This is a trunk of a tree.
You mean to stand tall to be a tree?
Yes, that's
Okay,
good. So he is a tree.
I'd be a tall tree.
Shh, trees don't talk. He is a tree. This is the trunk, and then if he had branches and fruits, yes. Stand just like that, boom. Branches, imagine there are fruits hanging. Do you ever see anyone say, oh, a mango tree, yes, I couldn't wait for a mango tree? No. They come in with ladders. They come in with stick. They come in with, yes, you know how it go. They come in with proper shoes or take their shoes off because you got to climb. And this tree. And they come in running and they doing whatever they can to get to the what? But the tree already figured out that I am a mango tree, so let me produce the fruit that people need. And it does whatever it takes, needs to take whatever it needs from the soil to make sure that it produces the fruit. And then It makes sure that not just any fruit, the fruit gotta be mangoes. Think mangoes now. They gotta be, this is a broken tree. Mangoes. They're nice and yellow, depending on where you are, or they're nice and red and orange. And they're plush and they're big. Like they make sure the fruit is juicy when they take that first bite.
Like me, eh, baby?
Yes. When they take that first bite, they make sure that their fruit is worth something. So when people come and they taste once, they gotta come back. And then when they come back, they come, oh, I got something for you to taste. Come. And then they come. Come, tree. He get one, I get one. That's amazing. Oh my goodness, go tell somebody. Then they come. They say, oh, I got something for you to taste. Come. No, come, get somebody. Come. And then they come. They keep coming for your fruit because you figured out. And so now what happens is this tree even more so is gonna keep producing because it feels that they're pulling. So I gotta make sure that I keep producing and good fruit. It is your responsibility to make sure that what you're feeding from is gonna produce goodness. That people come and they come in multiples forever. Because every time they come for that fruit, there has to be an exchange. So you worried about money? You worry about too much. We can get to money. You worrying about all the wrong things, like I say. You worry about the money, but your fruit's sour. He ain't got to worry about money, this tree, if his fruits are. Thank you guys. Thank you, tree.
Thank you.
So that's your interest. So your fruit is going to place you in rooms where your name may never take you. Only after they may eat a fruit and say, this is good. Whose is this? Can I get my PowerPoint? Thank you. No? Yes? It's coming. So there were places now, when I started on this path to purpose, there were stages, there were rooms, there were people that the fruit that I was producing because of the vision that I had of empowering already powerful people was taking me places that just Miles Monroe's daughter wasn't going to take me. But I also knew the value of my name. So I knew that the path to fight and the path to fall would fail that name. And just like how I wouldn't embarrass Daddy when he threw me on stage, I definitely wasn't going to embarrass him in his death. And so I had a few photos just to show you the different stages I've been on, but my media team is failing me. So the question, when you think about interest, the question is, what do you love to do that others want to avoid or think is boring? Again, this is just one of the 5 questions that I have, but I want to help you starting today. So what is the one thing you love to do that people avoid doing or they find boring? Like normal, but you are so excited about it. Like that's a gift just for you. Not everyone likes speaking on stages. Not everyone likes being before people. But I do. That's one of my gifts. So that's mine. I developed that. I even got a coach to make sure that when I stand before, no matter what speech I'm giving, it's done to where it's unforgettable. I developed my gift. What gift of yours, what talent, what is that thing that you can say, you know what? This is it. What's that thing you always got in trouble for in school back in the day? Kids, when you think about it now, what do you love to do that your parents or your teachers are always telling you, stop that, stop talking, stop breaking that toy? That very child that broke that toy could grow up and be the best engineer. Which is why my husband and I are very careful now with this message. I have to now, I'm so conscious of what I stop my child who's only 1.5 from doing. I don't want to be I don't want to be that thing. I don't want to be that hindrance that can very well push or stop our purpose. It could be the most annoying thing. It could, and usually when you're stopping your child from doing something, it's not because they're really doing something bad or wrong. It's just annoying to you. And then you feel it's annoying to everyone in the room. Now, I'm not saying that you bring order when order is necessary, but be careful. So even as adults, be careful when people, grown-ups, or when social media tells you this is what you should be doing and how you should be doing it. And if you're not, we're not going to push you up to the top of everybody's timeline. Who cares? I would talk to a room of 60 people before I talk to a room of 5,000 people who are not interested in what I have to say. Forget the numbers. If your fruit is sweet, the right people come in. And then they're going to bring right people with them who are willing to, please, here, take this, give me that. Take this, give me that. F. Oh, these were the pictures. These are different stages I've been on in the last 10 years. Been on television. This is Swati. Y'all call it Swati now? It's Swati. This was in South Africa somewhere, Bahamas. This was South America. This was teaching to a school in South Africa here. And people ask me, how do I do what you do? How can I get on stages? How can I do what you do? How are you able to still smile? I'm like, look, are you willing to do what I had to do to get there? Are you willing to go through what I had to go through to get there? Don't just think you see goodness. Don't just look at what you see and say, how do I do that? No. Don't try and be me. Be you. F, find a problem. And all of these are going to link up to each other. Here we go. People will pay to have their problems solved. Don't worry about, I want to be rich. Let me find a job or let me find a career that's going to make me money. Produce your interest, produce your fruit, and money cometh. Just like that. Your value in life is determined by the problems you solve through your gift. So when this tree is producing this fruit and someone comes, usually the problem we are solving with real fruit is hunger or a certain taste. And then that feel good that you get when you taste it. You're meeting the need, and then they go and they find somebody else who has the same need. And they come running. Eventually, you ain't even going to be able to do fruit fast enough for the amount of people that are coming after the fruit that you're producing. It is the problems of the next generation that illuminate the reason for your existence, which is why I said, what vision for the future inspires you? Think about the future. Don't think about now. I'm very concerned about my daughter's generation and the one after her. Very concerned. Do you all see where the world is going already? Do you see what they've already done? Let's think about the schools. I was talking to Zoli, Charlie's wife, and she was telling me how the schools in Africa are already going. And we plan on moving here in a couple years after my husband retires in the US. And I'm very concerned about which school in South Africa I'm going to take my child. because of the way the schools are being ran. So my concern is already starting to create ideas of now, how can I be a part of the solution to this problem? How can you be a part of the solution to the problems in your country that you complain about every day? You know what that means? We have to want to get into government. We have to want to get into policy making or changing. And I say that for myself because politics is one of the things, personally, I don't like. So I stay away from it. But if I keep complaining, if I keep complaining about certain things in my community, local community, and the world or the nation at large, someone needs to ask me, then what are you doing about it? So I ask you, what are you doing about it? What are you willing to do about it? I think about the children that are here. What are you willing to do now in your student, what do you call it, student affairs in the school or student council? Like, you can start there. We can very well have future president of South Africa in the room. And so I think about problems. What problem? And I'm not just talking about problem of poverty and problem like these. What even smaller localized problem can you be the solution to that can help with that in the long run? But think about future generations. And so when we stand here talking to you about purpose-driven success, yeah, we are worried or we are concerned about your success, but we're concerned about the success of the generation after you that you're supposed to be handing the baton to. So the seasoned people that are here, have you already thought about your succession practice in your business? Who are you already training, like my dad was doing, so that if something happens to you and you're no longer here, that there's someone to pick up the baton right away and continue where you left off? Or is someone, because of your lack of, are they going to have to start over? Therefore, you have a failed company. But not for those in here. Because this message that you're getting from the 4 people that are going to talk to you today is so that we can avoid that. So find a problem. And when I say their problems are vast, you have poverty, you have depression, you have suicide, racism is still a big problem. What can we do? And you know what I love about the next generation, though? They can come up with different and new ideas. Ideas of those before us, here we are. Our ideas are eventually going to run out. But this message will also be available, will also be applicable to the next generation, because then racism, poverty, depression, anxiety, abuse is still going to be a problem 25 years from now, because people will not have heard this very message of purpose. And where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. If I didn't understand that my child has a purpose from now, abusing her would be easy, no-brainer. But I know that it is my responsibility to train her up so that she can be the woman that God purposed her to be. I know that, I understand that, so I treat her accordingly. So one of the questions that you can ask yourself as it pertains to finding a problem is, what problem do you see others struggling with that you are passionate about helping them solve? And one of the best ways, or one of the first places to look, is within. What is a problem that you went through and came out of that you can help somebody else possibly going through? So I love helping people who have gone through some of the same emotions and feelings that I've gone through in the last 10 years. Grief, depression, anxiety, pain. I can help them with that because I know how they feel. It don't have to be a problem that's so far out there. No. You know how certain problems feel because you've been there. Are you willing to help others come out of theirs? And lastly, E, extra effort. And no, I'm not talking about the extra effort we put into our businesses or to an activity where we're up all night or where we're doing long hours or we're away from home because we're always somewhere or we're in meetings. Those are effort. But the extra effort is that effort that is going to take you having to look within yourself. Because we can be working hard and being busy. That's extra effort. But a lot of us can be working hard at the wrong thing, and we can be busy doing much of nothing. There are many people around here who busy bee. Busy bee. Right now, my child runs from one room to the next. She runs from my room to her grandmother's room. She runs in between doing nothing, going nowhere. She touches everything in the room. We call her busybody. Doing nothing. Now, to her, or to me, she's doing nothing. To her, she's exploring the world. But a lot of us are running around doing nothing. So the extra effort is about doing the work that you are afraid to do. What do you know that you need to do in your business, but you don't want to do it? What do you know that you need to step out on, that faith you need to step out on, but you don't want to because you don't know if you're going to fall. You don't know if you're going to fail. You don't know if you're going to go from -2 to -5 in the bank account. Fear is one of the biggest problems, personal problems, that we need to work on when it comes to putting in extra effort. And purpose is supposed to be big. Your purpose is supposed to be bigger than you. So when you think about it, the fear that comes up immediately when you think about that idea, and you're like, man, I can't do that. That's too big. It's not for me. It's the very thing for you. Because fear is going to say, you're not ready. You're not prepared. They're going to reject you. You're in the wrong place. You're too old. You're too young. You're too black. You're not white enough. Or you're too white. All of these things are going to come up. The world is going to drop fear instantly. And we must put in the extra work to not let fear lead. Notice, I didn't say to get rid of fear. You just have to choose to not let it lead your life. Purpose often requires more than just your talents and your interests. Most often than not, it requires the dedicated effort. And so a lot of us have gone through situations in our life, in our past, where we are still carrying guilt, shame, the bad names and words that were given to us as young people, as children. We've heard from mom, we may have heard from dad, we may have heard from grandmother, you're not good enough. You'll never amount to anything. I didn't want you anyway. I wanted to abort you. They made me have you. I wish you were never here. You're too stupid. These are the things that still pressurize a lot of people to this day, that cause them to take the path to fight or the path to fall. The extra effort that you need to put in is to recognize, first of all, the value that you have. Recognize the worth that you have because of the purpose that you have. And then say, that is not the truth about me. It takes the effort to say, my mom lied. My dad lied. My teacher lied. I think about my dad. His school teacher said to him, you are stupid. Imagine if he had believed, I am stupid. And imagine if he had continued to walk through life believing that I am stupid. He would not have done the things he did. He would have allowed that to minimize and diminish his purpose in life. So the extra effort that it takes for you to say, my mom rejected me, but God won't reject me. My customers won't reject me. It'll take extra effort for you to believe that even though my dad rejected me and he left, that God chose me already. So this is the extra effort that you must put in when you're thinking about the purpose that you want to live out and fulfill. And then there are extra effort. When I think about my talents and gifts, like I said, I love speaking. And so I made sure, and when I say I made sure that now when I have a mic and I stand on stage, that people actually enjoy, they actually walk away with something, and they don't forget it when they leave. That takes skill, that takes practice. So like I said, I got a coach. That's extra effort. There are many people who walk around saying, I could already do what I do. I don't need no help. I don't need no teacher. I don't need a mentor. No. The best thing that you can do for yourself is to be a forever student, always learning. Subduing or submitting yourself under a teacher, a trainer, a coach. I've done that. I have 2 coaches, one for business and one for personal development, intentionally. Because when I stand here, and you guys are going to give me a round of applause at the end, I know it. And I can say that because I know the work I've been through. But I can be good enough for then Charlie to bring me back because I've been an even better student when you didn't see me. That's extra effort. Knowing that I don't have it all together. I am not a know-it-all. There is still a lot for me to learn. That's extra effort. So let's put in that extra effort. And so what I've done, what I wanted to do, I was trying to think of what can I leave people with that they can take with today and start applying this. So on your table, I want to stand as your coach today. I left a free gift. There's a QR code or address, a website. There's a free gift for everyone in the room. I want to help you already start to apply the how do I uncover my purpose, or how do I confirm that what I'm already doing is on the path to purpose. So at your leisure, at your time, make sure you take a picture of that QR code. You could download the free gift. It's called the 5 Whys. And I help you go through the process of further honing in on your purpose statement. What is your purpose? Like, what is that statement? What is my purpose? And it's going to ask you to ask yourself why 5 times. And every time you answer that question, you should even get more specific. What's your purpose? To change the world. Okay. That's everybody's purpose. Why? And then you're going to give me an answer, and I'm going to ask you why 4 more times. So we can get to, I want to change the world by what? So that's a free gift that I have for all of you. And so the question that you can ask yourself for the extra effort is, what fears will you need to confront in order to live your life's purpose? What fears are you willing to confront? Is it a fear of rejection? Is it a fear of imposter syndrome? Is it a fear of insubordination? Is it a fear of not being worthy enough? What fear are you willing to confront in order to live out your life's purpose? And lastly, there's one more question that's a bonus. I call it the and one question because it could very well be that winning question in this game of life. For those who are familiar with basketball, it's that and one question that you get, where you get that extra point when you're trying to get to the basket, even when someone is trying to foul you, or because they foul you, you get the extra point. And this phrase, like I said, is a basketball phrase. When someone is fouled when taking a shot, or when a player scores a basket while being fouled. There are many times in life when, especially when you are on that path to purpose, I'm going to tell you now, if any of you say, Charissa, yes, I'm going to make this now my day 1 of my path to purpose and actually discovering that and fulfilling it, you will now become a target to the rest of the world. You have literally made yourself, imagine a target. You have made your back a target, and people are going to be after you. Because when this tree discovered, oh, I produced this amount of fruit, and people come like this, and they keep producing that fruit, people are going to, yes, be running after you for fruit, but there are going to be others who are going to want to tear you down because you're making people run from them. Now, you're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. Because if your fruit is mango and your fruit's supposed to be apple, there's no way that as a mango fruit tree, I'm taking people from you as an apple tree. There's something wrong with your apples. So you as an apple tree need to figure out how can you make yours so plush that when they finish with my tree, they say, nah, let's go check out the apple tree. You become a target, and they come in after you while you're going after yours. And the more they do that, they keep giving you more ammunition to get an extra point. So that extra point, think of this principle as a game changer in your purpose discovery. That question is the question that a lot of people don't want to think about. That last question is, what are you willing to die for? When you think about purpose, what are you willing to die for? We've talked about life this entire time, L-I-F-E. But then the culmination question is, but then what am I willing to die for? Do you love your life so much that you don't want to do nothing that's going to take it away? Or are you willing to do all it takes, even if it means my life? When my dad was on his way from one island to the island to meet us to host this conference, he was given all of his life, no matter what it was going to take to get him there. He said, I have a job to finish. I have a mission to complete. And on his way there to serve you, on his way there to serve Charlie and Eric, Hubert, these people were in the Bahamas, all waiting for Miles Monroe to come to serve them. He was willing to die for his vision of transforming followers into leaders and leaders into agents of change. And we will never forget it. What are you willing to die for? When you think about people that died for their vision, here are great examples. Dr. Miles Monroe, Dr. Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, Jesus Christ. All were willing to die for their purpose. And so I know a lot of you are looking at me, and I can see the faces, and all of a sudden it got solemn. But this should be the most exciting part. When you get that extra point, because that person fouled you, no, it's the most exciting part of the game. This should make death happy. This should make you even happy to think about it, because I'm willing to die for this thing. I fly here. It takes me anywhere from 14 to 20 plus hours to get to Africa from the US to do what I'm doing right now. My life isn't promised in any of those hours, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to empower already powerful people. So the purpose finder formula, how to uncover your life's purpose, legacy, interests, find a problem, and extra effort. Because you can be alive and dead at the same time. Which one you choose to lead is completely up to you. And I'm going to leave you with just 2 words that my dad shared while he was very much alive. and it's one I will never forget. And he's no longer here. And I'm going to end with this. In all you do, make sure you die empty. Thank you. Charlie.
Thank you so much, Teresa. I don't even know what to say after that. I normally say the hardest job of a program director is speaking after the speaker. So, senior, that sound is the right one. I'll just say, yo, yo. So I don't want to say anything after that. So many questions that you left us with in terms of just having, what are you going what is the fear that you're going to face? And for me, the fear that I'm going to face is having the most difficult conversation with myself, with all those questions that you posed, so that I can adhere to that last slide, that I don't die empty. Thank you so much, ma'am. We appreciate it. We love you so much. That was, at some point I was crying. At some point I thought, do I cry? Do I just sit? Do I absorb? What do I do? But thank you so much for those emotions. We appreciate it. That was powerful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah? So at this point, it is almost 1:15. We are going to have lunch. It is in the restaurant. The ushers will just lead you to the restaurant. Are there meal vouchers? You do have some meal vouchers. So as we leave the venue, the ushers will be at the door. They'll give you a meal voucher. You can give them at the restaurant, and then we'll be back here at 2 o'clock. They do close at 2, so 2 p.m. Is that fine? 2 p.m. seated so that we can continue with our next speaker. Thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. One, two, one, two, one, two. One, two, one, two.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. I won't say what they call this session after lunch. Ne? You all know. But we're gonna disappoint everyone. This is a lively session. We're all happy. We are full of the word. Our tummies are full, but we can still make room to just receive the word right now. So welcome back. We've had two wonderful speakers that I know that most of you are sitting right now and just taking in everything. So without wasting any of your time, I know that we are pressed for time because we want to also release you, but without wasting any time, our next speaker is all the way from Rwanda. He is all the way from Rwanda. He is our brother from Rwanda. The very clean place. You know, everybody, when you say Rwanda, we know. You know, so, and he's looking dapper because he comes from Rwanda. So he is a renowned relationship expert and a cross-cultural leader who helps individuals and organizations master personal and professional relationships to be successful in life. So ladies and gentlemen, without wasting any time, may you please welcome Mr. Hubert. I'm not going to embarrass myself and try and pronounce his surname. He knows very well. So when he starts, he'll start with the surname so that we all get it. So sir, if you're ready, I know that you are giving your presentation over to the media team. When you are ready, we are ready for you to drink from your well. 1 second. If I was at KCSA, I would say hallelujah, amen. So I'm changing my caps. Or I'll just say, colleagues, are you ready to receive Mr. Hubert? Thank you, sir. We honor you, we love you so much, and thank you so much for making time for us. We are ready to hear from you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Ask your neighbor, how long did it take you to be here? Okay, let me change my question. What did it cost you to be here? I'm not talking about lunch. The reason I'm asking is because it took me 2 days to be here. I came here right from the airport, from Omaha, Nebraska. It took me 30 hours, 1, 2, 3, 4 planes to be here this afternoon. Because I decided to die empty. I have so many reasons to not be here. I was with my wife, who was celebrating her birthday, and we had received a trip to the US. And the reason I'm saying this is what Teresa said of dying empty. If just a slogan, it's going to stay a slogan. You may not have to die, but you will have to die to something. I left my wife in the US. She's traveling today. I had to change my flight. I had to call home to bring me a bag to the airport because my bag did not make the trip. And to be honest, I was not expecting cold. All I'm saying is, you gotta pay a price. And give me a second to send an email with my slides to the person. While I'm doing that,